What's up, everybody? I'm just making sure, double checking we're live. It seems I have a weak signal. Okay, we are live.
Okay,
I'm
great.
so excited today. Just in case, for those of you who don't know me, depending on where this ends up, my name is Kristen Gutierrez. I am a sales and marketing ninja. I'm a two-time best-selling author, a three-time award-winning entrepreneur, and I help people make more money. And today I'm here with Dr. Kay Bloom, who's my friend, my client, and somebody that you all have to know. So, Dr. Kay, tell us who you are.
So I am a transformational therapist. I'm a prosperity coach. Coming out of the closet as helping entrepreneurs. And that was something I kind of kept secret for a long time, but I'm just coming out with it.
Hmm.
Helping people make more money in their businesses by being their authentic selves. And I have a team of 10 now, therapists and healers. And I went from solo practice 2 years ago. And before that, I was running other people's agencies. And now I'm a solo entrepreneur that runs a team, and I'm just so excited to be with you. Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, so fun. Okay. Is anything off limits? Because I feel like I have questions for clarification points, but I just want to make sure, message me.
No, there's nothing off limits. Let's just talk, straight. I'm a straight talker. And whether you see me in person, online, live, I'm 100% myself all the time. And I talk about the taboo topics like
Yeah, you
money,
do.
sex, relationships, all the things no one wants to talk about taboo. I could talk about anything except for clients' business. How's that?
Yes. Okay, cool. Well, because I just wanted to clarify, I are you okay? So you're like, I'm coming out of the closet by helping other entrepreneurs make more money. Is it any entrepreneurs, or are you specializing in helping therapists go from taking insurance money to becoming cash private practice? Can you clarify that? Because I think it'll resonate. People will be,
Absolutely. I think I really work a lot. Well, I work with men too, but I've been working a lot with female entrepreneurs and not just therapists, though. Business women, women who are either wanting to go to the next level or wanting to sell their business for top dollar. And I do help some therapists, but I'll say women because that's primarily who I'm helping in entrepreneurship because I think we have the most challenges with our voice. So, women entrepreneurs, and they could be in direct sales, they could be in something they haven't started yet, but they've always wanted to do. I help them activate, whether it's a private practice, which I welcome that, or just a business idea they have, and I help them get activated. So that's
love.
something that I think I'm really good at is helping women get activated and getting their business into action if they've been sitting on it.
I love it. I love it. Okay. Let me one second. For some reason, let me just triple check that we're live. Okay. So you actually clarified something for me that I didn't know. Like, I thought I was putting you just in that one box, but now that you've explained it, I have a much better understanding. So thank you. We are
No
no,
problem. I mean, I was helping therapists for so long go into private practice, but behind closed doors, I was helping all these entrepreneurs um, to launch their business or to upgrade their business or to start it and also get people in a mindset where they could actually get out of corporate America. And I know you know this struggle into the freedom that comes with and the responsibility that comes with entrepreneurship.
yeah. I mean, it is. It is a
It's
freedom
both.
struggle. Okay. Well, that's good. So tell us, um, you are speaking at my upcoming event, LFG Live. I'm so excited for that. Tell us what you plan to talk about or what, and when you do, I'm going to drop the link to that event in the comments. But just
Yeah,
like,
you guys first of all need to get there. I'm so excited. I was so excited to just book my ticket and say I'm doing this. And I love joining with other entrepreneurs. I've been in lots of entrepreneurial speaking rooms over the years, whether I'm on stage, off stage, I'm always engaging with people. we're going to be really talking about how authenticity, being your true self with your voice, is going to make you more money. It has for me.
Yeah.
I was telling some the other day. So I had this resume once, and the highlight on my resume was myself as the therapeutic intervention. That resume landed me every job I ever interviewed for, and it was done on blue sky paper, like the really textured paper with sky on it. And people were like, "You can't do that. It's not professional." It got me every freaking job. It got me my first director's job. Like they pulled the woman was pulling resumes because the clinical director had died and said, "I want to meet her. I want to meet her
Turns out you
because she
can do
thinks
that.
outside the box."
Yeah.
So for me, that has always been something that we are always seeming to want to compare ourselves. Does this make sense? Compare ourselves to other people
Yeah.
when truly it's the Dr. Kate Bloom way, the Kristen Gutierrez way. It's our voice that connects with people. When we try to be someone else, we fall down every time
Mhm.
because people are like, "Oh, you're going to be the next Dr. Ruth." No, I'm Dr. K. Dr. Ruth was Dr. Ruth. Rest in peace, Dr. Ruth. You inspired me to become a sex therapist. But I can't be her, right? I don't have the accent. I'm height challenged in the height direction. So I have to be my full-bodied self on or off stage. And that's what I want to be talking about because we're thinking, well, Tony Robbins does it this way. Well, that's Tony Robbins,
Yeah.
and I can't be him.
No.
Right? I
Yeah.
can just be me. So I really want to be talking about how we can convert that into more dollars for ourselves because then we're connecting with our unique message, our unique audience, our unique products, gifts, services, all the things. People want what we have if we're being ourselves. And that's what I want to talk about. And when I got into Jack Canfield's last book, the Keys to Authenticity, I was asked to be a contributor. I did not seek out that opportunity. That opportunity sought me out based on my authentic voice. The writing coach said my name had come from three directions
Yeah.
because it was my voice and the way I do business. And my
Mhm.
business, just by being myself, is attracting all these people. I was a solopreneur 2 years ago. Now people are calling me to ask to join my group.
Yeah.
They're like, "I have clients. Could I bring them and we could do more?"
You're like,
Absolutely. Let's
okay.
do it.
I love
So
it.
that's what I want to be talking about. Do you think that would align with our audience and that will be
Yes.
helpful?
I wrote down using your authentic voice and well, I mean, you said a lot of words, but what I wrote down was using your authentic voice and your unique message to monetize more. And it's like, because the monetize more comes later, it's really just stepping into your authentic self.
Yeah, which takes time. It's a process. People don't realize this. I've been at this a long time. You've been at this a long time. It's really only now that it's like really all coming together and flourishing for me. I'm
Mm.
almost 40 years into my career.
Oh yeah, tell us, because like tell us a little bit about that, right? Because everybody wants the silver bullet. Everybody wants things yesterday or tomorrow. Nobody wants to put in the work, do the elbow grease. Like everybody's looking for their lottery ticket. And here you are, you're like, it's all of a sudden clicking, or it's been clicking for a year or two or three, but it's been 40 years in the making.
Right. Exactly. So I
Oh,
started in the 80s
yeah.
and I was a little baby intern, 18, 19 years old. And I was at a homeless shelter and I made my first big mistake, which was to, watch a woman's children. And while she said she was going across the street to get cigarettes or milk or whatever she was getting, and she didn't come back for 23 more hours after that. That was my little awakening. So the nun who was running the shelter said, "Oh, good, I don't have to come back tonight because there's someone on site who's responsible for those children." And she's like, "This will be a really good lesson for you. Hope you keep warm tonight." We were in Syracuse, New York. And I did not know what I was doing. I was probably 19 years old at that point. And yeah, I was hunkered down with the night for the night with those children.
Oh my God.
And I had to start to learn really quickly how to set boundaries. This comes back to boundaries and also experience. And yeah, I stayed with the kids. The mom came back in 23 and a half hours. She wanted to go to a wedding and she was having a good old time. And that was my first trial by fire. So I started there. I worked with women and children. I started some domestic violence groups, and they didn't have any groups there. So I was creating programs already at that age.
Mhm.
And I found a self esteem book, a domestic violence book. We were reading and talking, and I started developing my first programs at that age. I had that in me. I
Yeah. And
had it in me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You had it in you. Yeah. You could see the thing behind the thing. You're like, oh, I'm going through all these experiences and I'm choosing self-development. And
Yep.
then I realize I have knowledge that I can turn into something else. I love that.
Exactly. So, I spent the, next number of years just interning and learning about mental health. And when I, finished undergrad, I realized I needed to know more. I took a year off. I worked at like a nursing home doing programs. And I really did programs my whole life. I did these groups and programs. And when I finished grad school, I'm sorry, when I finished undergrad, I went off for a year and I said, I need more clinical skills. So I went to grad school to get more clinical skills because I was seeing people very depressed and anxious
Mhm.
and not prepared. As an undergrad, I was not prepared to handle that. And so I got my master's, and then I started doing home visiting for children and families. And that was in the 90s now. So I'm just jumping 10 years, but still learning how to do groups, individual, family therapy, doing home visiting in my car.
Yeah.
It was a wild time,
Or in
and
your
then
car
on
before Zoom. Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's interesting because like some people now, yeah, are scared to do things over the phone on Zoom. Are they going to have a big enough impact? But you were in the 90s figuring it out, and you maybe had a
for
car
sure.
phone or like
We
maybe cell phones were around, but
they weren't really around. We had the first cell phones. I had like a Nextel brick
yeah, 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 yeah,
for
yeah. My dad had
emergencies.
one. Yeah, yeah,
And then, I mean, we were doing home visiting and paper notes.
yeah.
What a journey, right? And then the clinical director died suddenly, pancreatic cancer at my agency, and that's when they picked my resume out of a stack. And Tony Champlain, she said, "I want to meet this woman." I was newly licensed. I still didn't really know what I was doing, but my peers would always come to me and ask questions. I'm like, I don't know. I realized I had to get back into more school. I had a bunch of kids and families that were involved in substance use and children who've been trafficked and removed from their homes and put in foster care. I had all these things going on, and back in school for sex therapy because I just a lifelong learner, just seeking the information. And Tony Champlain pulled me aside and said, "You're our next clinical director." I was like, "What are you talking about? No, 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 no." I like my kids, my families, my daycares, my schools, my little home visiting stuff, even though some of the neighborhoods were rough, I didn't mind because they all knew me. Like once they know you, you're in kind of thing. I'm like, I'm comfortable. I'm happy. It's just like, well, get uncomfortable. Get
Yeah.
uncomfortable. I'm going to show you how to do it. She trained me a couple of days and then she was out because she was a consultant. So, I mean, bait and switch. So I inherited 10 therapists and all these foster homes and DJJ homes as the clinical director. I was mid 20s. I did not know what I was doing. I was shaky in my boots, but I figured it out. Like you said, say yes, figure it out. I said, okay. I figured it out. I hired a supervisor. I had a good therapist and I was off and I was at that agency for 7 years. I got them accredited. We passed every inspection we ever did. I learned to hire a team around me. Eventually, once we got accredited, I could hire other people. I grew it to 30 therapists. So I
Mm,
grew that team from 10 to 30, got them accredited, and kept everything going. 650 families we were serving. And I learned I had so much more inside me than I ever knew.
hmm Hmm.
And I did that like two more times with two other agencies and did the same thing really each time. I mean, my Susan B. Anthony Recovery Center was 60 women and 100 children and 120 groups a week. And I was managing that whole thing. 120, just imagine this,
Yeah.
120 groups going on during the work week simultaneously throughout the day so that there's no more than 15 in a group. That's
Wow.
how the math works on that. So making sure all the groups are covered, everything's clinically sound. We pass all of our inspections. And I never saw myself as like an administrator, but I became one. But I always was that hands-on, roll up your sleeves person for every audit. I was in the charts. I met with clients. The clients all knew me. And, that's the kind of team leader I've been. Now, the switch came when my last treatment center closed down that I loved. They were so good to me. The other ones weren't always good to me. I don't want to get into that, but the last place I was at was so good to me, but the insurance clawbacks closed them down from prior to my tenure.
Hmm.
I had turned the place around, but they got in trouble for prior stuff. And I had enough. And that was when I said, no more burning the bridges. I'm never going to work for other people again. I had 30 days. My husband had died. We went from two executive incomes to one executive income to zero executive incomes in 30 days. When you run someone else's agency, you do not have enough hours in the day or bandwidth to really run your own practice. Maybe you could do other things, but there's no way. And I'd kind of like built and sunk my practice a few different times because maybe it was a lack of confidence or believing I could really do it or figuring out a way to really do it. But the third time when I made that decision, that was it. That was 2018. And I decided never to go corporate again. I said, I'm burning the boats. That's
Burn
it.
the boats.
Burning the boats. I had one and a half clients. I say one and a half because one was like so low pro bono that, I mean, it didn't even pay for a bag of dog food.
Mhm.
That's how low that fee was. So I said, okay, that's it. I've got to get, 15 clients, cash pay only. I'm not dealing with this insurance stuff right now. And I've got 90 days to build this thing so I could pay my mortgage and I've got to figure this out. I just knew I was going to have to make it work. So I did. And I am. And here we are. So, and then in 2020, I guess it was 2023 or so, I woke up one day and I said, it can't be just me. There has to be more of a legacy. I need to be building a team. And you got comfortable again.
Mhm. Yeah.
I got
When I,
comfortable and complacent again. So,
that's human. But yeah, here we are.
but meanwhile, in the meantime, over the years, I wrote 6 books.
Mm.
The last three were with Jack Canfield, Lisa Nichols, Rise Up book, and my Authenticity Playbook, which I happen to be writing at the same time. Jack Canfield's people called me on authenticity, so I guess that's the theme that we're talking about this year is authenticity. Um, Helping people to find their voice in life in general. I mean, it's something I do in all spheres. I'm just stepping more into the business part of it openly. Like I
Mm-hmm.
said, I've been doing it behind closed doors for years. But yeah, so that's kind of what brought me here is just burning the boats and saying I got to make this work, and it's been working great.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
what's next?
Well, okay. So a couple questions, couple things, but yeah, right. We should always listen. I think it's so human to get complacent, to get comfortable. And I know that you and I share the same monetary goal, and there isn't always a straight path. It's like, I need another mentor. I need another opportunity. I need this. I need to keep it's kind of like you need to keep your blinders on to stay focused on the goal. But at the same time, you have to keep your head up to make sure that it's not like the next best opportunity doesn't pass you by, but it's like that you're being aware of partnerships and people to collaborate with, because otherwise, the tunnel vision, you've just gone too far. It's just that when these opportunities or partnerships or collaborations present themselves, we need to put them on a whiteboard and be like, is this a shiny object or is this actually something that can get me closer to my goal? So I love that you and I have the same monetary goal, but at the same time, there's different paths to get there, and it's not always a straight line. So when you talk to us at LFG Live, and I don't know, is this a talk you've done before, or I like to just make talks up for the right audience? This is what I do. So I'm just
This
curious.
one's going to be, I craft every talk I give, whether I gave it before or not, it's going to have its own different flavor.
Okay.
So this is going to be specifically just for us and who's coming.
Yeah.
So that's what I like to do because I'm very creative. That's one of my favorite parts of my job, whether it's speaking, writing, teaching. I
Mhm.
always bring all that good energy, that creative energy, because it keeps it fresh and current and fun. I don't want to give
So
some stale old talk. So,
yeah, well, I mean, yeah, it's kind of that is interesting, right? Because I'm talking to somebody last night and she's like, I'm like, we need to get you on 100 podcast. And she was like, but does my audience want to hear the same story 100 times? And I was like, yes, because you know, and I know we need to hear something time and time and time and time and time and time again. But at the same time, we are a new audience, so we've never heard the talk. It's just that at this, I also believe this is what I was talking with Anna about on this live the other day is like there's all these stories and you just went through some of your story, but then there's the system that you're going to teach. And so what I'll be listening for at the event is your 3 to 5 step system that you're going to teach us as it relates to, broadly speaking, being more authentic, finding your voice and or monetizing, right? Like whatever angle you go with, so that's how the audience in any medium, a podcast, an in-person room, a virtual, a phone call, doesn't get bored because they're like, oh, she's telling us about her story, her history, or whatever it is, but at the same time teaching me an actionable strategy. And she's telling us that I'm going to tell you what say yes and figure it out is. It's a 4 step system. In fact, I'm going to tell you right now, it's decide, take a step, lean in, and celebrate. And for the next 15 minutes, I'm going to walk you through the various steps while telling you stories. And then I might say, is that okay? And everyone's like, that's okay, Kristen. Uh, so yeah, it's kind of like that. To me, that's how we continue to make our talks fresher, right? Because it's a system and it's the same stories, but it's told a slightly different way so that it resonates with that particular audience.
yeah, exactly. So I will be sharing with you guys. So I have like a longer system, but I'm good because we have a short time. I'm gonna do 4 steps of rise into
Excellent.
your rise because I want to help people. We're all phoenixes rising, right? We're always reinventing ourselves, reinvigorating ourselves. So I will be showing that as part of my talk and weaving some of the stuff into it as it
Good.
relates to that.
Yes. Okay, I can't wait for that. And speaking of talks, so are you doing that other talk like that you were messaging me about over the weekend? And we don't have to say who it is or what it is, but I was just curious. I don't think we.
Okay, so I got really quiet with myself this weekend, and you talk about objects. I definitely am a shiny object person. I've spent a lot of money on shiny objects. For me, it's interesting because the one I thought I was going to do, maybe that I asked you about, I'm not going to do
Good. Yeah.
because the answer that came to me was like, in this case, at this time, you're going to spend money, not make money. At this case, at this time, this is not the right one for you at this time.
Hmm.
Now, the other one, I thought I wasn't sure if I was going to do the one I was talking about, which is the nonprofit. I am going to do that one, and I definitely want to brainstorm this with you. I need some help with something that I've just not been able to get good hold of, probably because I came from a non-technical background and experience. I mean, I've had dozens of talks. I think I mentioned this, dozens of talks on various stages over the years, including celebrity cruise lines, big conferences, teaching in China, teaching in Germany to international medical schools. My knowledge and like hardly any of it is anywhere
Right.
recorded.
Recorded.
So even this talk I want to do. So anyway, I got really clear with that. And that's why I was saying this morning in the chat, like the no is as important as the yes, because it's
Oh,
usually a quiet no. It's
Mhm.
not like an outraged no, or it's like usually very quiet for me if it needs to be a no. And it's
Okay, so
hard to,
Miami is a no. Just what, so
Miami's a no.
okay, cool. That makes sense. Well, now that I reflected on it also, right? Easy for me to spend somebody else's money, but it does make sense to be honest. Okay, Miami's a no, and no's are, and yeah, let's pause there for a second. And I know I just interrupted you, but before we go
No,
into
that's okay. Feel free.
because so many people think say yes and figure it out is all about yes, but when people read the book or hang around a lot, it is saying no. And one of our other friends and my client is hosting a workshop on broadly speaking, like boundaries around permission to say no, basically. Well, that's what the title of anyway, that's what the title of my the book is the chapter is called. I think it's like permission to say no. So whatever hers is. And she's like, I think this will be funny in this group, but I agree with you and her that the no's are so important because you can't say yes to everything. It isn't say yes to every single thing. It's say no so that, like, put your blinders on so that what you're focusing on isn't a shiny object and it is going to move the needle, like we said 10 minutes ago. Okay, so what's your perspective of that? Because, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I think the no for me is so important because I said so much yes without enough discernment,
Mhm.
without enough mindful meditation. But now that meditation and walk, two separate things, are part of my daily routine, I can discern better what is for now and what is not for now.
Mm.
And so for me, saying I said no to two stages this week, that's huge for me because the
Mhm.
part of me that's like, pick me, pick me, pick me, right? That's the part is
Mhm.
like, okay, just like calm down, girl.
I love it.
I get picked a lot, right? I do. I get picked a lot. Um, I have three other things that I am doing. One is LFG, one is Women's Executive Club of Fort Lauderdale that knows,
Cool.
likes, and trusts me. So I want to, and the other one is this handbags and high heels. This year is for couples, which I find extremely interesting because we've always had it for just women to benefit women's mental health of a colleague of mine. But this year we got the couples in there,
Mm.
and
Is this the talk you
it's going
said
to be
yes
called Hot Topics and Cool Notes.
to?
And she invited me to be the keynote speaker for the year for this year's event. I'm really that one sets my soul on fire. I'm really excited about that.
Okay.
Um, and so I'm excited about that one. And I think because it's also local, it will also bring me more business.
Hmm.
But also, it's for a cause, which I'm always a big fan of.
Hmm.
And I just want to leverage it properly. And that's where I feel like I need the help. But my perspective is the no's is important to yes. So I say yes to three things and two to no, two no's. Three yeses and two no's
Look at that. 5 opportunities in 1 week.
in 1 week. Five opportunities, three yeses and two no's.
This is why you want to get in Dr. K's orbit because she is magnetizing the abundance and the no's are going to bring you a next better opportunity, another one. So it's yeah, it's so important. I remember saying no yet last year to some consulting work because I wasn't really doing it anymore. And it's just like it felt like a lot of work, which isn't the reason to say no. And then it just felt unfulfilling. So, like, to me, it was like an opportunity with real money when I needed money, but at the same time, a lot of work, unfulfilling. I'm like, that doesn't align. I don't mind the work. Is it fulfilling? And to me, that's what you're also saying because this one that you said yes to, that's local, lights your soul on fire, right? And then sometimes people ask you to pay, sometimes they pay you, sometimes it's for free. That becomes moot because it lights your soul on fire. So, all right. So we'll spend the rest of the time then how to leverage is what you're saying.
Yeah, how to leverage. Like, for instance, okay, so I did this podcast And there's others that are coming, and our team is going to be doing a podcast this year. There's a lot of stuff that's moving now. It's moving in a really good direction. I'm excited. But like this podcast I did with Tim Roberto and Stomping Out the Stigma, they did all these clips, all these little clips. We talked about speaker babies,
Hmm.
and it's been so much part of my posts this month because I did this one podcast, and there's probably been like 10 little clips that they've launched. I'm just leveraging the crap out of that stuff. And I'm like, okay, I don't care how I sound or how I look or how any of this stuff happens. I spoke from the heart that day. Tim and I had a fantastic conversation and led to some more partnership stuff we're going to be doing. I'm going to be doing something to benefit his charity later this year, and leveraging in that way of
Yeah.
like leveraging through capturing, right? I feel like leveraging through capturing is really important. I was thinking about possibly, and I just wanted to check this, but I was thinking about possibly just investing in an actual camera and tripod so that I could just get, like I do a 10-minute speaker spotlight later this month. I'm doing this event. I mean, it's first of all, it's extremely costly, right, to hire someone to do video usually. But I was thinking if I get it, then I have an executive assistant. My admin can break it up and zhuzh it up for me. She does a fabulous job of that. And she said she was willing to do it. So I want to know your thoughts about that because I need to
Okay.
start capturing moments, right? So that I can leverage them on all of our social media platforms.
So I would say, so since you're asking, I would say
Yes.
shiny object because you have your phone and Zoom. So I like, yes, there's a day, there's a time and there's a place where if we want to be, we'll all be like Gary V. And we won't even be capture. We'll literally be documenting, right? You know Gary V. Do you know?
No.
Oh, okay. Um, so there's basically in anything in life, just like content, there's a video content, capturing content, there's a sliding scale. And so there's a scale of like super janky, like just piecemeal together, and there's just a scale of at the other end is like super professional, hiring the right people and. But layered on top of that is both is creating content versus documenting content. And a lot of people now, they aren't even quote unquote creating content. They literally have 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, or 24/7 camera crews following them around, just documenting them in their everyday. And then they're so talented at what they do, they undoubtedly work for the person. And then they just do all the things in the background so that you don't actually even have to create. You're just being you. I'm just sitting here talking to you. And little did you know, I have a camera crew. I have 3 people in my trailer. I mean, I don't, but like I have 3 people in my trailer right now with the perfect lighting. Clearly, I don't have that going on with the perfect lighting, the perfect angle, and they're capturing everything I do throughout the day. And then they're just making content for me because I'm making content in the moment. I'm just telling the room that's where I'm aspiring to get to because I love what I do so much. But scaling that back, it's kind of like for now, our phones, no matter what phone you have, our phones are so good. And it doesn't need to be anything other than, hey, this is Kristen. What's up? I'm going live today with Dr. K. Say hi. And like, da 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 da. Not only that, but like things like this are being recorded. So I would ask myself, how often in person or online can you simply repurpose what you're already doing versus investing in, because I almost fell victim to the shiny object of sometimes shiny objects a person, sometimes it's an opportunity, sometimes it's products, things. And in this case, the fancy mic, the fancy video camera, the fancy lighting, it's wild because I still don't have any of that stuff. And so then everybody has to make when a shiny object like this presents itself, you have to ask yourself, can I do it using my computer camera and Zoom and my phone? Or can I afford X, Y, or Z. Because some people can afford X, Y, or Z. Then you just have to think about why am I investing in the camera and the tripod? Like, what's it going to bring me that my phone literally cannot? And so to further back that up, as you know, a lot of times we put distractions in front of us to say, well, until I have the camera and the tripod, I won't be able to produce the best type of content. So it becomes like a roadblock that you mentally put. We all do this. We mentally put in place that then all of a sudden we have to climb over. So until we do this, I can't start recording content when the reality is all of this is content that you can start to repurpose.
For
So
sure. And I've definitely noticed that I've been creating a lot more content in the moment in my office, by the pool, outside walking. It's been great. What I
yeah,
did notice so I was able to pull some footage from the last couple of years that people got on their phones. And it's really like in these bigger rooms and stuff like that, it's hard to hear if I like have a message I really want people to hear and all that. I was like, I would really like to have some of these more significant things like the women's event that's going to be the couples event this year. I'd love to have some better quality. I'm not talking about also very expensive one. It's something I can put in my budget for like now. I looked at my budget already. Something not super expensive, but something more stable with more better sound that
yeah.
will be helpful for me, especially for my talks
They
and our events or other things where I could just set it and forget it. And so that's one of the things I noticed. So one of these events I did 2 years ago for Women's Executive Club, I was their guest speaker for it was a sex over 40 talk. And they ended up putting us outside. So when I tell you the quality is the wind picked up and the quality was like I can't hear any of this and someone got it from the phone. The video was fine and it's fine for like my little sizzle reel that Dana's making for me, but as far as repurpose, you can't even repurpose it because the quality's so low for those kinds of things. How much would I use it? Probably at least 6 times a year, I would think. Not for everyday stuff, but for the bigger stuff every couple months where I'm doing a talk or I'm doing a workshop or I'm doing something else. I think it would be useful for that reason.
Yeah. Well, so and nobody can tell you yes or no. That's literally, my opinion. Now I'm going to put only in this chat right here. Oops. I'm going to put a well, I don't know it's going to look like that. Okay. It's a fuzzy mic. So I don't know if you've ever seen like other they're vlog like vloggers or whatever people on the streets. So
Yeah, with the little tiny fuzzy mics.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's funny that
Yeah.
they make them fuzzy, just whatever. So that might not solve your problem, or it very might solve the problem
Okay.
because audio tends a lot of the challenges you are describing, not every single one, but a lot of them become audio issues. And that's a fact. That's why these mics are super cool. Um, so the crazy thing is, so I'm a realtor, although not practicing, and that's a shiny object I collected when I was climbing the corporate ladder. And I spent $20,000 one time on a course, on a mentorship I did nothing with, except I went and I bought all the things. And it turns out my ex-husband just found the green screen I had bought. So the woman that I bought this course from was teaching real estate agents how to stand out in their markets. Now, this is because I was like, "Oh, what am I going to go do? Hand out flyers to I need to reach more people." And this literally became the thing standing in my way of ever getting my real estate business off the ground. And in fact, I never got it off the ground, right? Or I might not be here today because the pandemic was obvious. This was pre-pandemic. So had my business gotten
Mhm.
off the ground before the pandemic, I believe I would have been a realtor during the pandemic when everybody made lots of money. But I was so convinced that I wasn't going to go dropping off flyers or paying a college intern to drop off the flyers that I needed this $20,000 mentorship. And I found a camera crew locally, and I bought this massive green screen, massive, popped up. because I read so much information about the right green screen and it always has wrinkles in it. And so the one I bought, and I bought these huge Dr. K, these huge box lights, like huge lights. And I popped myself up in our guest bedroom and I was
So
like
great.
making videos. I mean, it was like wild. So I still have I think we gave away the box lights, but he found the green screen and I was like, don't get rid of that. Those days might come back for me. And at the end of the day, you see, what I did was I did what I would just like caution everybody else not to do. So if a month
Yeah,
will solve the problem for you and you can
yeah.
faster get into action, I would be like, instead of looking at the budget for like what can I afford, and this is also just for the room, right? Reverse engineer it and be like, how can I make this? How can I use this to make money? If I dedicate myself to making more content and buy something like a $20 fuzzy mic and I make more money and I demonstrate and I track now the line in the sand, okay, I'm making X regularly, but the content creation is going to be, Y on top of X. And I make $1,000, I make $5,000, I start making money because I'm making content. Now I'll have time and practice to know if I should spend, and that's not what you're asking, but $20,000 on this mentorship,
Oh, no, no.
several $100 on the equipment. That's all. So
Yeah,
the
makes
mic
sense.
solve half the problem for you. But I get it. I also get it. Janky sometimes isn't worth it. Like
Well,
it,
I have so many of these where even if they're trying to use a tripod, it's the wrong angle. It's just kind of like, let me I was thinking, let me just do something small. I'm not going super fancy. I'm not super high tech, but just something small and steady just to
yeah,
capture these moments and not to have to ask one of my friends to do it because they're happy to do it, but it never comes out good. And I'm just like, I'm really tired of that.
yeah,
If
yeah,
they
yeah,
come
yeah.
to if they come to my talk, I want them to also enjoy it. So
Hmm.
then, because whoever's doing me a favor is like, oh, I wanted to see you more, but I was filming it, or whatever. And then I'm like, they're like, oh, isn't it great? I'm like, not really. I don't want to say that either. I'm like, no,
100%. Okay, well at
but
LFG,
that's a good point. Thank you for that feedback. That's really helpful.
you're welcome. Yeah. At LFG Live, we will have a professional camera crew there. So that'll be amazing because your talk will be captured. And then we have Adrian and I think Lynn, but Lynn's still confirming. So Adrian's going to do a little bit on using B-roll, like learning to capture B-roll, basic, just like video of us doing whatever. In the case of a friend, because this is at every conference we're at, like, hey, I know there's a camera crew here. Actually, just the $1 billion impact. I was just at San Diego. I need to find I need to ask Stacy, the host of that event, for my talk because it's been a couple weeks and I haven't seen the video, right? And that's fine. If she doesn't, maybe I can track it down from her. So in the meantime, I'm like asking people in the room of 200, hey, can you capture my talk? It's exactly your point. And somebody did. But then to your point, right? It's like bad quality, bad sound, bad lighting, bad angles. That though can become other B-roll. And
Right. B-roll stuff.
right. And so then you just post it, you put words over it, you put music over it, and then we have it for the sake of having it. And Adrian's going to do a little talk on that. So that's kind of where it's like nothing is wasted, but knowing how to repurpose and leverage it. And then in your case, having the right team members to be able, like my team, my VA doesn't do that for me. She could, but we're doing a million other things right now, right? But it would be
Now,
easy to be like, here.
yeah, right here. Now, here's a question. So, with this nonprofit, I love them. They do a lot of scholarship therapy for women in the community that really need mental health treatment that don't have any money or insurance. So, again, doing some of stuff for a cause, but I think I could do a better job at negotiating some terms with this. Like, I had asked this person if they could share some social media stuff with me or share
Hold on one
some
second.
of how to negotiate better terms with the nonprofit. I mean, we can either pick it up later. I
No,
really don't want to keep you when you got to go get your son. Go get your son.
no. He's fine. I'm texting his dad and I have to cancel a podcast anyway in 10 minutes, so it's fine.
Oh my God. It's like that sometimes, right? Some days are like these.
Let me just
I
tell
was
her.
talking about like how I asked for things before, but she was kind of like, "Well, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I want to really get clarity this year because I'm having a meeting with her Saturday, getting some clarity about what could I leverage since this is now to get paid to speak. She'll give me a table, so I've negotiated that. So I'm gonna have my millionaire mugs are making their debut,
Yay!
and well, LFG first, but they're going to be out there. My books. I sold out of two of my books, so I had to order more books. Two
Nice.
more book boxes, so I got those in. So I'll get a table, but I want to see. I don't even remember if she had it taped before. I'm going to ask her Saturday if she had her talk, if she had the event taped or just photographed, because I don't remember.
Um, so
And
sometimes
what?
I like, yeah, I'm like, sometimes you would can't negotiate more, right? So I think that like the fact that you've negotiated that is something. You should be proud of that. And it's kind of like knowing that there's different levers to pull on because not everybody will pay us for events, but
Right.
there's a lot of ways that you could make money. Also, do you have, oh gosh, there's this platform called Talkadot. I should get you my referral link. I
Oh,
think I
please
still
send it
have
to
it.
me.
So Talkadot allows you, it's like it captures emails of everybody in the room, but it gives speaker feedback in real time. And you're like, hey, the guy Arl who created this platform is a genius. But he's like, hey, I'm going to pop up this QR code right now, and you're going to have to fill out 7 questions, and we'll just pause and wait. Everybody take out your phone. I know. And you kind of just like make light of these questions, but these questions become real time feedback of how your talk did. It's wildly amazing. And then the way it is like it's third party feedback because it's not you saying, oh, I did this talk and I was awesome, which we should do that too. But it's like the audience thought I was also awesome too. And then by answering just 7 questions, like how was it? Would you come again? Like da 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 da, right? I mean, you'll see the questions. Then they get a giveaway from you. And that's cool. Like for example, are you on Positive Prime? I've heard about Positive Prime.
What did you say?
We should have you heard about Positive Prime yet?
Yeah, I think you told me about Positive Prime, but I don't remember what it is again.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's like a neuro-based scientific it's an app where your clients, both your therapy clients and your clients, your women entrepreneurs and everybody in this room. So everybody who's coming into your orbit can get a free, you could sign up and you could become an affiliate basically, but like it would benefit you, it would benefit your clients of all shapes and sizes, and it helps like prime your brain in 3 minutes or less every day about how just like how we need to think abundantly, how we need to think positive, how life is always working out for us, right? And so this is what I'm saying. So if you do a Talkadot slide and they scan the QR code and they answer the questions, and then you have a 1 page giveaway and you give away a 7 day trial to Positive Prime, you're adding so much value, right? You came and asked me, how do I negotiate X, Y, or Z? But I'm like, not always can we negotiate. B, it sounds like you have. And C, I always say the biggest thing you want to negotiate is the ability, and it's kind of like asking for permission sometimes. You're not selling anything from stage, but you're capturing feedback. Every speaker has the right to capture feedback. Now you could ask, can I sell an offer from stage? And the host, the event coordinator, the nonprofit, whoever is going to be like, well, what would it be? Right. And then that's your zone of genius. Like, do you actually have something that they would need? Because to make money in the room doesn't always have to come from the organizer. It could come from the people in the room buying something from you.
Right.
And the ripple effect or the trickle effect of buying things from you It doesn't always have to be one for one. It's like, here's a $10,000 offer or here's a $47 low ticket thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, subscribe to my newsletter. And my newsletter has all types of affiliate links for yourself and your business, has all types of products, your mugs, your books, right? It's like there's more than one way to make money, and it doesn't always have to be from X. It could be from X. You will, you have undoubtedly already been paid lots of money over the years for your speaking, and you'll continue to do so. But now it's kind of like, but how else could I make money? That's where I come
Right.
in.
Or leverage the opportunity, or like she has swag bags, so she allows me to put something in the swag bag also, which is nice.
Yeah. Right. 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 So it's like what to put in it that they're actually going to use or look at, because a lot of it just ends up in the trash.
Yeah. They do like my stress balls.
We all like a good stress ball to throw at our kids.
They like the hearts and the stars stress balls. People tell me they've kept my stress balls and stuff for years.
Oh, they're hearts.
I have a heart one I've done, a star one. I usually try to do a different shape, a different branded shape each time. So they have the different shapes.
That's fun. I didn't even know where to order those. So I love, see, like there's so many little things, right? Aren't we so close to our zone of genius or things that we've done for so long that we don't realize? Like I legit, like that's not, I'm not even kidding. I would never know where to go order stress balls, let alone different colored shapes that would undoubtedly, I believe, probably have your name and number or website on them. I would have no idea. And you're like, oh yeah, da 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 da. So
I know I
tagline,
tried to get the millionaire mugs logoed, but it was just way too costly to make it cost effective. So instead of doing that, I added the mental health stickers, the mindfulness grounding exercises that are in the form of stickers, the suicide awareness and mental health awareness butterfly pins instead of having it branded as healing couch. I did those other things. I thought those would add more value for people.
yeah, right. And I think like anything, it's like, yeah, what do the people do with it when they come back home?
Yeah. Yep. So I like to do things that are useful, and swag bags are great. Yeah, people throw a lot of stuff in the garbage, but they usually don't throw my stress balls in the garbage. So that's one thing for me that's worked for me, and feel free to use it. Don't feel like you stole it from me, because people have been doing stress
Oh
balls for
yeah, yeah,
years.
yeah. No,
But
yeah,
sometimes
like
they end up with the dogs, sometimes they end up with the kids, sometimes they end up on someone's desk.
every corporation I've ever worked at, I was just never involved. I was never in charge of swag. So like legit, just don't know where they procure them. But yes.
What would you use that you would get that you've gotten over the years? You must have gotten a lot of swag over the years.
Oh,
What
I've
would
done
you use?
so much. I mean, before kids, I would not collect anything. One year we went to, I mean, I've been to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of conferences working as the booth B, the booth girl, also just like participating as like panelists and speakers at conferences. So a lot of times I take nothing. In the moment, I'll take food because I want to eat the food. um Once I had kids, I started picking up like, yeah, what would the kids want, right? So the stress balls and everything. And then now bigger and bigger and bigger, there's been raffles for like, that's another thing to think about. Like rather than doing whatever the cost is, rather than doing X number of tchotchkes for $100, what could $100 buy? $100 gift card to Starbucks. That sounds excessive. For $25 Starbucks. Can you raffle them off? Hey, participate in this survey. And everybody who completes my survey, you'll get a freebie for me. You'll get a free 7-day trial to Positive Prime. And I'll pick 4 of you to get a $25 Starbucks gift card. It's like, right? Because like at conferences now, for several years, they've been giving away Bose speakers and MacBooks and earpods and headphones, and it's
Not in the mental health world, they don't.
just depends. Yeah.
That's like high tech money.
But but yeah, it depends. That's always the thing. What's the payoff? But it still costs money to buy the things. Because the other lever you can pull on is, hey, I want to bring books for everybody. Can you absorb the cost for that? Like there's always an ask. And that kind of brings us full circle, right? To wrap this up, it's like when we're speaking on a stage, and if they're saying, hey, I can't pay you, right? Or I'm paying you, like you either have to negotiate what they're paying you or how they're paying you. And I believe it's not always physical, monetary how, it could be in the byproduct of. So I have to get myself there. Could they cover travel costs, or um, will they buy books, or can I set physically sell from stage? And if the answer to that is no, which a lot of times it is no, I need to do something to collect feedback. And so Talkadot for me, we come full circle to Talkadot, because then Talkadot gives me the opportunity to collect emails, which is currency, the biggest currency there is, and give value, right? So
That's great. And I have not captured those things well, is the email. So now is that a subscription service? Just curious. Talk it
um,
up.
I'd have to check how they like it's yes and no, because if I still have a referral code, I'm not paying. It's free. Like, does he still have a free plan? Like, it's a good thing to look into. I'll have to tell you. It's like
If
I
you have a code, I'm definitely open to seeing that, because that's something that I just have not kept up with, which is the email addresses. And I see that people are really having a lot of success with using it. I love how you do yours, by the way, just giving you kudos and props for how you do your emails. I love it. I
Mhm.
love the frequency of it. Don't let anyone tell you differently. It's great with all the reminders. It's great for someone that's busy like me, that will forget, that will get busy, and you're breaking through. So I just wanted to give you that positive feedback. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much, Dr. K. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for asking the questions. I am cheering you on. I cannot wait for you to grace our stage at LFG Live. And let's make sure we circulate this video in as many hands as possible.
Absolutely. Now I could be able to share this and all that good stuff.
You will.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.